So I may have gotten a new bike a couple months ago. Think I made some money by upgrading to it, and it's a bike that I think is incredible. Let's talk about it. Hey guys, Josh here again with Daily Mountain Bike Rider, and today I want to tell you about my new full suspension bike, a 2020 Transition Sentinel, why I absolutely love this bike, have upgraded to some more travel, and how I actually made money by upgrading. First, let's jump into the details of this bike, and instead of just telling you everything on it, I'm gonna actually tell you how much I paid for it and where it came from. So let's start with the frame. I told you in my last video, I bought this frame used on Pink Bike for $1,700. Somebody had upgraded to the aluminum Transition Sentinel, taken the new Fox Float X rear shock off their aluminum version, threw it on this one, so it was a new shock and a carbon fiber frame that was in pretty good shape for $1,700. Next, if you look at the fork, I got a brand new RockShox Zeb. I picked this up at the Losco. They are my and your local bike shop. They're super awesome dudes. Seriously, click the link below, help them out. Go in there if you're in Bellingham. They're the nicest guys around. Now, because I work with the Losco, I did not pay full price for this, so I can't tell you what I paid for it, but it wasn't quite full price, but it wasn't free, so there you go. Next up, I got my wheel set, and this one actually came from FSA when I was sponsored by them. I've been running this wheel set for, I think, like 2 years. It's a carbon gradient wheel set. It's been true and tried. It's been great. So I didn't pay any money for this because I've had it and got it for free. Next up to the dropper post, the fine folks over at P&W Components sent me this 200mm loam dropper, and of course the loam lever for free, which is super generous of them. I've loved the P&W Components, everything they make, from their bars and stem to their dropper post to their pedals. I mean, these guys are great. You can go through their website to check them out or head over to the Losco. They sell all of their products. Anyway, thank you so much to the guys at P&W for sending me this dropper for free. Next up to the drivetrain, I'm running the Shimano Dior 12-speed. This is the cassette and the shifter and derailleur. I got this used from a friend for, I think, $200. Or I bought it on Pink Bike, another set used for $200. I can't remember, but I pay about $200 for these, which I think is a fair price for a drivetrain. For the crank, I had this laying around. This is an FSA gradient crank. It's an aluminum crank, and by golly, I've broken some carbon fiber cranks, and I really like the idea of running aluminum ones, whether it's like a race face effect or a SRAM NX or GX or something like this FSA. I think they all run really well. So while I got this crank set for free, the drivetrain overall cost me $200. Next up to the brakes, I actually sourced these on eBay. That's why I buy all my brakes. These are the 4-piston Shimano XT. They're known as the M88120 for those of you who care. I found these on eBay and it looks like I paid $370, which is a pretty going rate for the 4-pod XTs. I think they're a little bit more now, like $400, but always look on eBay. There's some great deals on there for Shimano brakes, SLX, Dior, or these ones. On those brakes, I like the centerline rotors, and I actually have a 220mm rotor up front. It's a big boy, it's pretty good, and a 200 out back. I got these from the Losco, again at a discount. Moving on to tires, of course, I got the Askai up front and the DHR2 in the rear. These are tried and true, never had an issue with them, they're great. Got them from the Losco. Onto my grips, I am running the Trail 1, I forget what they're called, they're on there. They're called Hell's Gate grips. Hands down the best grips I've ever used, pun intended. They're delightful. I would really encourage you to try them out. Good job to Brian and the guys over at Worldwide Cyclery. They did a good job. Can't get those on the Losco site, but pedals, I'm running the P&W Loam pedals. Got these brand new right when they dropped, and I absolutely love them. Again, I did not pay for these full price. I did pay for them, but P&W gave me a discount. Thank you. Got an old Cushcore I've been running for like 5 years in the rear tire. I don't know what it is. I think it's the XC one. It's the lighter one because I'm a light guy. I'm not. Bars and stem or gradient bars and stem from FSA. Got these from when I was sponsored for free. And then I went and picked up a headset over at the Losco. It is a Hellbender from King Creek, and it's been working really good. So that's all the details of my bike. And overall, if you were to pay fair market value for each of these components. So what I meant is if you went and found a Zeb at a used price on Pink Bike, or all the components that I had and bought for free, I totaled up that the total price that you would pay out of pocket would be around $5,289. Now that was me doing some quick searches and finding comparable items, or just paying full price like on some of the things I did. And it's good to know that a bike like this, if you build it yourself like I did and choose every single component you want, which I did and I enjoy all of them, then a dream bike out of pocket would cost about that much. For me though, because I am super lucky that I had parts laying around, I got discounts on some of them, and of course I got some of them for free, my total all-in price for this bike added up to $3,300. And I do not say that to rub it into your face, because before I did YouTube and before I got hookups and discounts, I would have parts laying around and I would build up bikes just like this for similar prices. And the reason I wanted you to know that is if I look at what I sold my Ibis Ripley AF for, I sold that for about $2,800 or $2,900. So if you look at the difference, it cost me only $500 to upgrade from a mid-lower travel cross-country-esque bike to this full-on enduro rig, which is absolutely fantastic. And I share that with you guys to be super open, but to also encourage you, if you're thinking about upgrading, there's ways that you can upgrade to a very nice bike by selling your current one, finding parts, and again, you may pay a little more or a lot more than I do, but if you love mountain biking and this is your thing you do, it might be worth it. Now, enough talking about prices and components, let's talk about this bike in general. I realized after riding my Ibis Ripley AF for about a year that I really enjoyed it for like 80% of the riding I did, but being a guy who goes off bigger drops, bigger jumps, some very gnarly steep descents, I was finding the limits of that bike. Now I say that knowing that I don't find the limits of all of my bikes. On this Sentinel, it's nearly impossible for me to find the limits of it. On a downhill bike, again, very difficult. But if you find yourself like I did, in a bike that you realize I'm continually hitting the limits and it's getting to the point where I'm uncomfortable or it could be dangerous, to me, I thought to myself, if I could upgrade at a good enough price, it might be worth it, which is why I jumped on this. If you've been watching the channel, I had a version 1 Sentinel. I actually owned 3 of these, 2 carbon ones and 1 aluminum. I actually did not like the carbon ones that much. They were fine, they were good bikes, but I wasn't in love with them. The aluminum version one I had, I don't know why, but that bike just felt a lot different in the characteristics from the frame. I'm not that into like feeling the differences, but I did. So when I got this V2 Sentinel, it was a mix of, it's a good deal on pink bike, and I wonder if the improvements are enough that I can notice a difference. And boy, oh boy, when I got this bike, it instantly felt like every like cliche thing you can say, like it climbed like a goat, descended like a billy goat, it went over jumps better than ever before, I can now triple backflip. Whatever the cliches are, this bike just clicked with me. It felt like it was the perfect amount of travel, not way too much, that was overkill, but more than I had previously. And overall, I have really, truly loved this bike. I'm looking forward to take it to Whistler and Squamish this year. I've never explored Squamish, which is a shame, and I know it's gonna do great. I've already taken it to Sedona, Arizona, and a couple other trails besides just my local ones in Bellingham. This bike really is a true do-it-all bike. Every component on it I picked specially. I love RockShox forks, and so I picked the Zeb, and that's been really good. The Fox Float X, I do feel an increase of support as well as just overall long-term feel going down the downhill, not feeling like it's getting too heated up. I don't actually know that much. It just feels really good, okay? And yeah, I am just super stoked on this bike. So if you have any questions about this bike or my thoughts on it, leave them down below. I'll try to get to your replies. Or if you have any specific details, like I said, a big thanks to the people who helped make this happen. Pink Bike, thanking you on your buying used stuff. The Losco, go check them out in the links below. PNW Components, and my old sponsor FSA. They make great stuff. I still run it for a reason, even though I'm not sponsored by them, because they really make a high quality product. All right, that's it. You know what time it is. Don't spend too much time watching a guy ramble on talking about his new mountain bike, but get out there, ride your bike, and make sure you do it every day.